Trump's year-end national address, key takeaways and political context. On December 17, 2025, U.S. President Donald Trump delivered a rare primetime national address from the White House diplomatic reception room in a speech aimed at summarizing his first year back in office and shaping public opinion ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. The nearly 20-minute address drew sharp political reactions, fact-checking scrutiny, and controversy for its content, style, and timing. 1. Central theme: blaming Biden and economy. Messaging. The dominant thread of the speech was Trump's effort to frame his administration's record as a turnaround from the perceived failures of the previous Biden administration. He opened with the message, "11 months ago, I inherited a mess and I'm fixing it," using former President Joe Biden's name multiple times to attribute responsibility for issues such as high prices, crime, and healthcare costs. Trump repeatedly tied his economic narrative to that of his predecessor, dismissing chronic concerns about living costs and asserting that the U.S. was on the cusp of an economic boom. Critics and fact-checkers pushed back strongly. CNN's data analyst pointed out that many of Trump's claims did not match public data, such as inflation and employment trends, and that his portrayal of economic progress was misleading. Senator Chris Murphy, a Democrat, publicly disputed the president's economic assertions, saying many Americans still struggle with affordability issues, including health care and food insecurity. 2. Style and tone: rapid, contentious delivery. Trump's delivery was noted for its fast pace and combative tone, with minimal empathy toward audiences facing economic hardships. He delivered much of his message behind a podium rather than in a traditional Oval Office style, aiming for a rally-like presentation rather than a reflective national address. Some commentators even raised concerns about Trump's health and mannerisms during the speech, describing the cadence and tone as manic and expressing unease over his emotional delivery given his age 3. Few new policies, mostly familiar themes. Contrary to earlier hints from White House officials that the speech might include new initiatives, Trump's address contained few substantive policy announcements. He unveiled a plan to send $1,776 Warrior dividend checks to more than 1.4 million U.S. military service members ahead of Christmas, a festive gesture tied to the nation's founding year, 1776. Trump mentioned upcoming housing policies and said he would soon announce a new Federal Reserve chair, but without concrete details. Otherwise, the address relied heavily on well-worn themes from Trump's rallies, including critiques of immigration policy, culture war topics, and denouncements of perceived Democratic failures. 4. Foreign policy, largely absent from the address. Although speculation had swirled that Trump might use the national platform to announce major foreign policy actions, especially amid heightened tensions with Venezuela, the address largely skirted detailed international issues. Analysts noted that these were conspicuously absent from Trump's remarks, suggesting an intentional focus on domestic economic messaging rather than global strategy. Other reports from the day indicated broader foreign policy actions, such as a $10 billion arms sale to Taiwan and continued military activities in various regions. But these were not central in Trump's televised address itself. AP News 5. Political context, election timing, and strategy. Trump's year-end address came at a politically sensitive moment, with Republicans facing difficult midterm prospects and voters expressing ongoing concerns about the economy. The president's strategy appeared to be a reframing of discontent into a narrative of progress and resilience, while seeking to define the national conversation on his terms. Critics from the Democratic side argued that the speech was more akin to a political rally than a statesman-like address, and questioned the network's decision to grant nearly 20 minutes of primetime airtime without substantive new policy offerings.